TV soap news and spoilers today on our channel. We're diving into one of the most emotional and high-stakes storylines currently unraveling in Days of Our Lives. The question on everyone's mind: will Chanel and Johnny leave Salem after their adoption plans fall apart, and after Johnny reaches a breaking point with his father, DiMera? This isn't just a story about a failed adoption. It's a story of betrayal, control, desperation, and the kind of family chaos that only Salem could deliver. Fans were hopeful when Johnny and Chanel, one of the show's most beloved couples, set their hearts on adopting Sophia and Tate's unborn child. They saw a bright future, a family of their own, and a fresh start, only to watch their dreams come crashing down thanks to the DiMera name and its ever-darkening shadow. Let's break down the emotional spiral and the dangerous road Johnny may be heading down. Unless Chanel can stop him. Everything seemed to be falling into place. Chanel and Johnny were finally on the same page, united in love, stability, and purpose. When the opportunity to adopt Sophia and Tate's baby presented itself, they embraced it wholeheartedly. They weren't just looking to expand their family, they were ready to build one from the ground up, offering their love and support to a child who needed a home. But in Salem, good intentions are never enough, especially when the DiMera name is involved. Amy Lewis, the legal guardian who had stepped in to oversee the adoption on behalf of Sophia and Tate, was initially supportive. She saw how much Chanel and Johnny wanted this child, and she believed they could give the baby a good life. That is, until she stumbled upon the viewer's article, an expose detailing the latest corruption, criminal dealings, and family betrayals surrounding the DiMera legacy. One line in particular stood out to Amy: "No one connected to the DiMera fortune is ever truly free from its curse." And just like that, her opinion changed. Amy slams the door on adoption. After reading the article, Amy made the heartbreaking decision to revoke her support for the adoption. She could no longer, in good conscience, allow a child to be raised in a family so tied to scandal, deceit, and unchecked power. In her mind, it wasn't about Johnny, it was about EJ. She feared that EJ DiMera, Johnny's father and head of the DiMera empire, would inevitably find a way to interfere. Whether through legal manipulation or emotional influence, Amy was convinced he would cast a long, dangerous shadow over the child's life. When Johnny confronted Amy, the answer was final. "You're a good man, Johnny, but your father, your family, I won't put a child in the middle of that." Johnny learns the truth, and the rage builds. Johnny, devastated, returned home seeking answers, and he got them straight from the source. EJ, smug and dismissive, admitted he'd shared some facts about the adoption with a few people in the legal system. In EJ's eyes, Johnny was making a mistake. Raising a child with Chanel without his control or approval was something EJ simply wouldn't allow. Paulina, ever the protective mother lion, wasted no time confronting EJ in a fury. She stormed into the DiMera mansion, leveled her stare at EJ, and said what all viewers were thinking: "You may think you can control people like pawns on a chessboard, but you just played the wrong family. No one messes with my daughter and gets away with it." But the damage had been done, and Johnny, already wounded, was spiraling into something far more dangerous than heartbreak: vengeance. Later that evening, Chanel tried to calm Johnny. She begged him to focus on the bigger picture. Yes, the adoption had fallen apart. Yes, EJ had once again destroyed something beautiful, but they were still together, still in love, still alive and free to make a life, with or without a baby. But Johnny wasn't ready to forgive, and he certainly wasn't ready to forget. "If my father wasn't in the picture," Johnny started. "But he is," Chanel interrupted softly. "And he always will be. That's what you have to accept." Chanel's words were filled with realism, but for Johnny, they cut like a knife. After she left the room, Johnny sat in silence, staring at a kitchen table now covered in unopened letters and cold coffee. His eyes drifted to a paring knife sitting inches away. "We'll see about that," he muttered under his breath. Those words weren't empty. For longtime Days of Our Lives fans, they were chilling. Because Johnny, for all his charm and creativity, is still a DiMera, and that blood runs hot when pushed too far. Johnny's hatred for EJ is growing by the day, and he's not the only one. There's now a growing list of enemies, some public, some hidden, who believe the DiMera patriarch has gone too far. Ironically, even EJ himself seems to sense the growing danger, looking over his shoulder more often than not. And now, the question looms large. Is Johnny capable of going down a dark path to eliminate his father once and for all? Or will Chanel intervene before it's too late? Will Chanel and Johnny leave Salem? Chanel sees what's happening. She sees the darkness closing in around Johnny, and she knows what that kind of hatred can do to a man. She's already lost one dream, the adoption, and she fears the next thing she'll lose is Johnny himself. Rumors are swirling that Chanel may try to convince Johnny to leave Salem, to walk away from the DiMera name, the power struggles, and the legacy that keeps tearing them apart. A fresh start in a new town, a clean slate, a life beyond EJ's reach. Could it save their relationship? Or is it already too late? The heartbreak of the failed adoption is just the beginning. The emotional scars run deep, and Chanel and Johnny now stand at a crossroads. Stay and fight? Or run and reclaim the peace they desperately need? Fans are divided. Some believe Chanel and Johnny should stand their ground, confront EJ, and carve out a place in Salem on their own terms. Others argue that the DiMera shadow is too heavy, that the only way to find happiness is to walk away from it all. Will Johnny fall into darkness? Will Chanel walk away to protect him? Or will love be enough to pull them both back before Salem loses one of its most cherished couples? Our TV channel Soap News and Spoilers is the place for those who want to know how the Salem story goes, as well as great Days of Our Lives updates and news. So subscribe to our channel to get what you want. Bye-bye.